Airports are places you don't really look forward to going to. You're probably looking forward to getting to your destination, especially if you're on vacation. But until more recently, it was a rarity to find someone who is excited to just get to the airport. For those who love to travel, what's your favorite airport so far that you've been to? What's the worst airport you've been to? Are there airports that you think you might want to go through to see if they are as good as people say they are? As far as most people are concerned though, they are not really a destination. More of a holding area before you board that plane to your actual destination. As much as we want to forgo them altogether, what may surprise you is that airports want you to spend more time in them. More and more people are traveling every year, with global travel growing by 46% every year and by 35% by 2025. With this increase in travel, airports want to get a chunk of that money that travelers are spending. And airports are at an advantage as they literally have a captive audience. To understand what's at stake, let's go over how airports make money. According to usfunds.com, global airport industry revenues for 2017 totaled $161.3 billion. That's billion, with a capital B. On average, the airport industry had a net profit margin of 22% in 2017. The majority of airport revenue, about 56% of it, is from aeronautical means, such as terminal, landing, and passenger fees paid by airlines. Basically, airlines pay to land, park, and fly from airports, and pay rental fees to use check-in counters and gate space, among other things. Almost 40% of revenue comes from non-aeronautical activities, and the remaining 4.6% is from non-operating activities. Non-aeronautical revenue comes from such things such as supplying fuel for aircrafts, car parking, ground transportations like taxis and buses, retailers like duty-free and souvenir shops, and food concessionaires like restaurants and food stalls. In recent years, more and more airports have gone through or are going through renovations, not only to accommodate more passengers, but to also increase passenger satisfaction. Surveys have shown that an increase of 1% in global passenger satisfaction on average generates growth of 1.5% in non-aeronautical revenue, meaning the happier passengers are with their airport experiences, the more likely they are to fork over cash for some food and shopping. One of the best-rated airports in the world, Singapore's Changi Airport, made about $480 million in profits in 2017. That's some well-deserved cash if you ask me, considering how nice the airport is. What may be surprising to some people is that some airports use human psychology to keep us calm and compliant, and be ready to spend. Here are a few tricks that they use to manipulate us. One line is better than two. Standing in one ridiculously long line may sound annoying when checking in or going through security, but they found this to be less stressful for most people. Having everyone in just one line, with the next person just going to the next available counter, creates a perception of fairness in people's minds, as most people seem to always think that the grass is greener on the other side. In this case, the line next to you seems to move faster than the one you're on. Finding your way should be instinctive. They have several ways that they do this. In some airports, they use art installations as placeholders where people can meet up. This also helps lighten the mood to make airports feel like a friendlier place. Another trick is once you're past security, they make sure that you always see the tarmac. They call this wayfinding, and it's to make sure you never get lost on your way to your gate. They also use signs, but keep it to a bare minimum. Too many signs can overwhelm people, so they keep paths streamlined and only use one of three fonts: Helvetica, Frutiger, and Clearview, all of which are easy to read from a distance. Strategic location and design is key for people to shop. For most airports, a lot of duty-free shopping is placed right after security, This is for several reasons. Since there's a lot of foot traffic right after security, this mimics the environment that people experience when going to the mall, flipping a mental switch in your brain to shop. Also, you get this rush of relief once you've cleared security, putting you in a more celebratory mood conducive for spending. Most airports have gates fully carpeted, as opposed to most airport front ends with hard floors. This is to make this area feel more cozy, putting passengers in a more relaxed mood. They keep shops brightly lit to mimic daylight and incorporate as many windows as possible, since they found that people tend to spend more money on them than poorly lit confined ones. They also deliberately designed duty-free shops to have winding pathways, as this tends to increase sales by 60%. Those curved paths expose people to more product, inducing more impulse buys. They also tend to stock up on souvenirs and trinkets that reflect local culture, giving passengers the illusion that this is their last chance to stock up on them, as they might not be found anywhere else in the world. For example, Sleepless in Seattle t-shirts are still the best-selling souvenir in the Seattle-Tacoma Airport. Quite surprising, considering it's been more than 26 years since that movie came out in 1993. More dwell time means more money. Dwell time refers to the time from when a passenger clears security to when they board their plane. Most people tend to arrive early to make sure they have plenty of time to go through security and not miss their flight. One way that airports try to take advantage of this is to shorten check-in and security times. They've employed automated check-in and bag drop-offs, as those have been found to be 25% faster. They're also trying to find ways to automate immigration and security, as they found that for every 10 minutes spent on these leads to a 30% drop-off on retail spending. So the next time you're at an airport, check and see how many of these tricks they are trying to use on you. Did it work? Or were you able to resist buying that giant Toblerone or that kitschy knickknack? Isn't it amazing that the improvements we've seen in airports in recent years were more so done to get us to spend more? And here I am, naively thinking they just wanted to give us a better experience out of the goodness of their hearts. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. For more interesting facts and stories, subscribe to our channel and click on the post notification button to know when we upload a new video. Remember, stay fox curious